right, and welcome to the Courtenay Turner podcast. I'm your host, Courtenay, and I'm super passionate about moving and thinking. On this show, we are going to dive into all things health, fitness, personal development, lifestyle, and political, sociocultural. I've always been fascinated by people, and I love learning from the experiences and stories of others. This has been a treat for me, and I hope this is enjoyable and useful for you. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or any way that I can make this a better experience for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Well, hello. Welcome to the Courtenay Turner podcast. I am here today with Snyder and the Monty. They are the authors of How to Be a Miserable Failure, the complete guide to, am I going to butcher it?
Destroying your life.
Or destroying your life.
So, yeah, wow. So, all right, guys, tell me a little bit about this, because most people, you know, they write kind of like a self-help book, and it's usually a guide to how to live a good life, something like this. Philosophers thousands of years have written things of this sort, and now, you know, pop culture icons write those kind of things, and usually people want to know how to make their life better, but you guys want to tell people how they can be complete and utter failures.
We are the exact opposite of Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
The problem with your Tony Robbins and your Bob Proctors are they're setting unrealistic expectations for everyone. And that's how they sell more books, and they get you to come to their conferences. And the amount of success rate that comes out of that is like less than 1%.
So you think they're creating like a dependency cycle, and that's how that's how they make their money, because then nobody will ever leave because they're going to be a success.
Why have I not been successful? Well, it's because I haven't gone to see you and pay you enough money yet. So we realize that we're kind of setting people up to always be depressed, always not be happy, because they're never reaching that height of success that Tony and Bob and all the rest of the gurus say you should get. So we're being realistic, and we're saying, you know what? If you shift and you change your thinking to not how successful I can be, but how successful I can be at sucking, then this book is for you.
And
we cover everything.
I don't think I need to read it because I think I've mastered it.
Oh, that's how we wrote it. You're right about what you know.
Right. And this is how we got it started. So Monty and I were going through a very, very difficult phase many, many years ago, like in 2013, 2014. And I believe you said we should.
A difficult thing again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a shit show.
That was the end of that. Okay.
Let's be real. Like, that's been most of our life. It wasn't really a phase. No.
So he said we should write a book on, how to inspire people. And I said, no, let's write a book on how to screw up our lives. We're really good at that. And so we just started bouncing off things, and we talked about all the ways we've ruined our own lives, and How to Be a Miserable Failure just became, born.
624 pages later, we are changing the world one failure at a time.
You've had a lot of screw-ups.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that's a lot of pages of screw-ups.
We could have written 2 books, but we are almost illiterate. So this is really a terribly written book. I mean,
it's a horrible. There's grammar errors, typos,
terrible
spellings.
I can barely read. Like, Steve has been helping me for years now. I'm getting a lot better. Like, check this one out, buddy.
It's the.
Remember,
we talked about this. It's
the cat ran. Actually, I'm giving up again.
You want to use past tense on that one.
I'm just gonna drink.
Yeah. Well, and that's we have a drug and alcohol section in the book where we give you the best cocktail to have mixed in with the best narcotic, legal or illegal drug. And so that's the drug and alcohol section.
Vodka. So we were trying to pair illegal drugs and alcohol, because if let's say you're going to like do rum and cocaine, those two just don't work. It doesn't happen. And we know this from years of experience. So vodka is a better idea. Vodka and cocaine. What's rum go with, Snyder? I can't remember.
Rum goes with gas huffing. We call it grumming.
Grumming. Yes. If you're going to drink rum, huff some gas.
Absolutely.
It's almost free.
Wow. Almost. Except that alcohol is kind of expensive.
Well, we steal most everything.
It's actually pretty expensive too.
We steal those too.
Yeah, you steal everything you can. You never pay full price for anything unless your goal is
report it to the IRS, then you can keep your profits.
Correct. Yes. And we recommend, we actually have, it's funny you brought that up. We have a section on how to treat an IRS agent when they come over to your house for an audit in the book.
Do you
We have
really?
an entire section on how to treat, how to treat an IRS agent. Yep.
We essentially cover everything in this book. So any aspect of your life, relationships, dealing with family, getting a job, it's all covered in here, and how to do it the miserable failure way. Again, your goal is to suck. So if you're already great at that, you're going to feel really good about yourself.
Yeah. And some of the chapters, just so you know, we cover personal relationships, family relations, friendships, how to deal with strangers, lifestyle, that includes like hygiene. We cover a career path. We cover finances. We cover transportation. We cover it all.
I'm actually really good at failing at all of those things already. So like I said, I don't think I need to read your book, but.
Yeah, I mean, you will lose some intelligence once you read the book. So,
and friends.
Yes, you will. You'll lose friends, family,
and probably your job too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
if you had one.
Winston Churchill said that success is going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. So it sounds like really people who are masters of your book are successful.
Exactly. You can be a success at being a failure. And it seems like society is doing a better job of that all along now. I mean, COVID, we've been doing COVID for years. People have been socially distancing from us for a very long time.
Oh, absolutely. And Monty never bathes. I don't know how to wipe properly. I mean, we're a disgusting.
Well, fortunately,
duo.
we're on Zoom, so I am very safely socially distanced from you.
It's if you smell something rotten, it's probably us.
All right. Well,
yes.
You know, they're gonna have the AI where you can sniff through the screen soon, I'm sure. So
it's coming.
Fortunately,
digital
we're not
COVID with that too. Yes, digital COVID. We're all going to get it.
Yeah, well, a lot
Netflix.
of people are worried about it currently. I mean, that's why children have to wear masks when they're in school online, because, you know, obviously you can catch it through the screen.
Well, exactly. And we've been trying to get this made into a movie for years, and they just don't seem to be interested in Hollywood. We haven't Me Too'd enough. I don't know. We need to really work harder on harassment. We formerly worked for the Cosby Weinstein Foundation.
It was briefly.
They kicked us out for our views on the war.
Yeah. And I might, not to get political, but we might as well. President Joe Biden bought this book. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to read an email that he actually sent us about this book. Okay?
It's from what I can read from it, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's almost like something's wrong with his brain. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe he's just not a good typer.
Here's what Joe Biden sent us, and this was 4 months ago. He said, hey, fellas, great damn book. Where's the wall? 1-page cord hugger. Wait a minute. Who is this? Great book. Losers. Love, Joe B. So that's an actual email from the President of the United States loving our book.
I don't understand what he put next to his signature. What does hashtag it's my underwear now mean?
I don't know. And he put a thumbprint too. Like it was he put like a thumbprint. It was strange.
Weird.
How did you get your book?
He saw it and he said, right when he became president, he said, hey,
he was arrogant. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to grab a copy, and he's following it to a T. You know, how to be a miserable failure as a president. This man is following it. He's doing a great job.
It's great for world leaders.
Yes.
We really were. Apparently,
you may have made the country fail, but you're a success because, I mean, he's following your blueprint.
Apparently, Vladimir Putin decided to invade the Ukraine after he read our book.
Wow.
Yes. And
I've been really looking for a scapegoat. And, you know, everybody's pointing to like the WEF and, you know, China. But now I know the real scapegoats. I mean, it's obviously you guys are responsible for all of this.
Little known fact that after Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, after that happened, in his cell, they found our book.
And not to mention that several famous people who have recently passed, they've actually purchased our books too. It's unfortunate. We can't
Can you
get
talk
into
about
names.
who?
I mean, you can see some of the big names that have recently died. Some of them have purchased our books.
We don't want to mention anybody's name, Meatloaf, or
Betty White.
put anybody out there, Bob Saget. But
It's a curse.
it's yes, it tends to
So
make your
why?
life worse and shorter.
So why is it that people want to buy your book again? Just so I'm clear.
To ruin you and destroy your own life. So if you want to
Yeah.
purposely destroy your own life, be it, let's say you want to get divorced, don't just get divorced.
No.
You have to put your spouse through a series of events that eventually will get you divorced. You want to always have lifetime alimony, for instance. You never want to have visitation rights for your children. We have an entire section in the book on how to become a terrible parent. So if you want to destroy your own life, this is the book for you.
Well, and others' lives, because the kids' lives as well. I mean, you can't just destroy your own lives.
Yeah.
No, we have to start with the younger generations. It's really, we're paying it forward. We teach you about everything, down to even hygiene. I mean, we only own toothbrushes for sexual reasons.
Wow. I might have to hear about that, but I'm not sure that that's going to be accepted on the platform.
It's only
not
legal in the
family-friendly.
state. It's only legal in the state of Utah, actually, some of the practices.
Utah.
Yeah.
Yes, we once spoke to a group of young school children about the book, and they now all play for the Raiders.
All right. So I just want to be really clear. This is 625 pages.
24, but if you count at the end our reference section, then it goes a little bit longer than that. We like to really acknowledge everyone, and we've actually made a mistake starting out here. We are contractually obligated to acknowledge our sponsors, so hopefully Snyder can help me with that as well.
Well, first of all, yes, I'm glad you brought up Shotgun Vodka. We have to acknowledge the Shotgun Vodka. If you want to get ripped and you want to have a horrible hangover and you want to have people around you leave you and flee from you and commit suicide because they're around you, Shotgun Vodka is the creme de la creme.
It's very cheap. A slight kind of sneaker / rust taste, I would say, makes the most sense. But yeah, Shotgun Vodka, hashtag Shotgun Vodka, blackjack condoms.
No one uses condoms.
We don't use condoms. No, miserable failures don't do that.
No.
That's not part of it. Big shout out to Terry and Pat Henderson. They are from Nevada. The best shepherd's pie we've ever had, and three-way. So thank you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it was an amazing experience. Monty and I never break eye contact during the whole thing. That's part of the deal. And when you go to these events, these sexual parties and stuff, there's always a buffet. You always want to hit the buffet first. It's key.
It's only weird if your balls touch.
Yeah.
We don't let that happen. But eye contact is essential. We want to throw a big shout out to everyone at mile marker 84. That's the gender neutral truck stop bathroom. Thanks for the memories, everyone.
And to your point, Monty, we also want to give a big shout out to our 6th parole officer who he hasn't committed suicide yet, Officer Davis. So we want to give a shout out to Officer Davis.
Failing.
Yeah, he would leave our cell unlocked, let us kind of have our way around the facility at night. We kind of on a routine basis, check ourselves in to correctional facilities. It's a great way to find friends. A lot of people have a lot in common. You don't want friends
for success. You want to surround yourself with like-minded company, right? So
absolutely,
that's the way to meet.
Yeah, that's what this book is all about. We want everyone to become like us is essentially the idea. So big shout out to that. And all of our therapists, I think we do group therapy, Steve and I. We're on therapist 11 now.
Technically 12 because Gary killed himself.
Yeah, Gary, he was a nice fella.
Now it's funny because we had Gary and Larry recently kill themselves because they've had to deal with us in therapy. So it's funny that Gary and Larry have both died.
We have learned not to pick therapists that are on like the 4th or 5th floor.
I could not withstand more. So
yeah, no, you want to, if you're us, you don't pick a therapist that is above the 1st or 2nd floor because they can jump right out and they usually don't survive. And then we have to start all over with somebody new.
Then that's terrible. Then you have to go through your whole life story all over again.
And it gets depressing the more
And
you
with
say it.
stories like yours being miserable failures, who wants to go through that all over again?
Well,
exactly.
Well, but you do want to wallow in your own misery, though. So you do want to take what is happening to you, both mentally and physically and spiritually, and you want to project that outward onto others. You know, you want to spread, you're like a virus and you want to spread yourself. So if someone's in a good mood, after hanging with you for like 2 or 3 seconds after you've read this book, they're going to be ready to leave. You're going to depress the hell out of them.
We are the Omicron of failure. Everyone's going to get it. We dedicated the book to everyone who said we'd never amount to anything. They were right.
Wow. Well, that was very generous of you. You wanted them to feel good.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it's all about, because again, if you're setting yourself up to succeed, you're not going to make it. It's just not going to happen. Again, less than 1%. But if you set yourself up to fail and then you do fail, which is pretty inevitable for most of us, you're going to feel great. Nothing wrong with that. And if you don't feel great,
really low and you'll exceed expectations every time.
Yep.
Exactly. You're never going to be disappointed when you're a miserable failure.
Right. Like if you aim high, you're going to miss high. If you aim low, you're going to miss low. So we always say, go for the gutter every single time.
Yes.
Wow.
And somehow we keep convincing people to be in relationships with us, and to be friends with us. And the outcome is always the same. Crash burn in a really bad infection.
Yeah. Oh, and how many wives? Monty, you're on wife 14, and I think I'm on wife, well, kind of 13.
Yeah, we've shared several wives, so it kind of gets blurry. And then when you get married in international waters, is it legal? Is it not legal? I mean, age is an issue too. We don't need to get into that, but yeah. So 13, 14, right? Let's just say a baker's dozen to be safe.
All right. Well, we won't.
But you don't have to worry about us getting you pregnant. That's not happening. Yeah, there's a condom or no condom. We're shooting blanks. That's for sure.
Yeah, that well's dried up.
Yeah, if you look at our sperm under a microscope, it's got a mohawk. It's got several rashes. It drools a lot. Yeah, it's not good.
Is this all the drugs, or what was this?
Drugs and microwaving ourselves. Whenever there's a microwave, Monty and I like to go and we stick ourselves up to that, and that radiation just fries it.
We will not pay for a tanning membership, so this is much more effective.
Sure.
Oh, yes. I was wondering. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
That makes perfect sense now. I get it. Yeah.
It does. Time for more drinking. All right.
So if you want to become a really, really bad parent, for example, we have an entire chapter dedicated to becoming a deadbeat dad, to becoming a horrible mom, and how to disown your children and how to turn them into slave labor.
And really the goal is you want to turn your child into a predator who's after you for revenge. Do you ever see somebody go on the talk show and they blame everything on their parents? Mm-hmm. That's us. We are really to blame for basically every problem that a child could have. Our goal is when you wake your child up in the morning, you don't give them a hug. You don't tell them they're great. You kind of wake them up with, maybe like ripping the covers off, turning the lights on, reminding them that you're in your situation because of them.
Wait.
Your parents must have read the book.
Well, and if your lights even turn on, because most of the time your lights are turned off for failure to make payments. So.
That's not happening. Let me apologize in advance. If we do hear any knocking on the door, it's probably my landlord wanting rent again.
It happens every month,
It's ridiculous. They want to get paid every month, and they won't accept sexual favors. My landlord, he is an asshole. He will not go for it. Yeah. And I'm semi-good. I mean, when I say semi-good, of course, that doesn't include me climaxing, because that hasn't happened for a very long time. But you will get close to climaxing.
And by the way, Monty, we have an entire section in the book where we talk about how men can fake orgasms.
Oh, easy.
It's very, very easy.
Why? Because you're jealous of women doing it?
Yeah, we have women faking orgasms and what women can say after sex in order to make the man feel really welcome.
It's the sneeze method. The sneeze method is the best. Yeah. So as you're in the act,
sneezes is equivalent to an orgasm. So.
Well, that's the whole idea, is that you sneeze into your hand and then you reach down and go, look, it happened.
Yep. And sometimes there's a few other techniques you can use, like the backhanded Alabama slammer is also a really good one, but you have to read the book to really understand that.
There's some sexual techniques. Yeah.
I apparently have to read this book, but I'm still really not clear on why it's 625 pages. So you guys thought that we should take the long way into learning how to be a miserable failure?
We just wanted to cover everything. No stone left unturned. Okay. Because essentially, if you're not doing it right, you may accidentally fall into success. And that's not good for anybody. So if we didn't cover personal fitness, if we didn't cover diet, if we didn't cover hygiene, if we didn't cover employment or your lack thereof, we have a whole section about how to get fired. There's some.
Well, and just open the book. Open the book.
How? I'm so sorry. Before we go on, I really just want to understand, how is this book different than the advice that we get from, our government entities and the NGOs?
It's about the same, because those same people who have been, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, big fans of this book, big fans.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. And by the way, we found out through the grapevine that Mitch McConnell used to breastfeed Harry Reid in the Senate closet. Monty, for how many years?
It was a very long time. They would feed each other applesauce. I know he passed away now, so we shouldn't talk about anybody that's dead,
we're talking about Mitch McConnell because we call him Bitch Tits Mitch.
Bitch Tits Mitch used to breastfeed
breasts.
Harry Reid, and then Nancy Stretch Pelosi. She looks good for 150.
Yeah, she does. I had no idea.
But if you pull open for example, I just pulled open a random, we have an entire section on how to hoard food and how to properly make yourself vomit. We have an entire section on how to steal toiletries from your grandparents. And how to behave at Walmart. It's all there.
I think, Steve, you should turn to page 18 of our book, and you should read the wedding toast. We cover everything. So how to get divorced, but also how to get married the right way. And I would love to read this, but these squiggly lines aren't making sense to me. What's that first? Hi. I got that one right. Hi. H-I.
Wow.
You're gonna have to read the rest though, because I don't know that next one. It's a long one.
So this is how to get married and then how to get divorced. So during your ceremony, you do the proper toast. Everyone's always like, oh, I love this man for this reason and blah. No. This is what you need to say. Hi, thank you for coming to our wedding. This is my blank. Insert the number of times you've been married. If you'd like to place a bet on how long our marriage will last, please see Uncle Phil near the back of the table near the keg. Put 20 down on me for 5 months. Wink, wink. I want to thank those of you who brought us gifts. We will be selling them in the parking lot later to fund my alcoholism and heavy drug usage later tonight. To those of you who did not bring us gifts, go to the ATM and go blank yourself. Also, if you're thinking of drinking and driving, I have just one thing to say to you. Man, that stuff is fun. Just be sure to blow if you get pulled over, and if you're asked to take a breathalyzer test, say yes. And I also mean blow the cop's penis. So trust me.
Of course, yes.
I've gotten out of over 18 DUIs by giving a Hummer to prove how innocent I was. There's one more important announcement. If you still haven't had a turn with my spouse in the coat closet, you should act now. The suggested donation price will be going up as the evening progresses. Let's keep it classy, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, you cheap mother effers. Drops mic.
That's how you give a wedding toast. You know the dollar dance at weddings? Mm-hmm. We kind of take that to the next level. It's more of a grope type session, and we take change. Dollars aren't necessary. Anything you have. Really, if it jingles, we take it.
Okay. Got it. Good to know. Well, what would you say is the most important tip that you could tell people about how to become a miserable failure?
Yeah. Well, the first important tip is to start. Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah.
You go first and then I'll follow.
The most important tip is to just start with the tip. If you just start with the tip and put that in first, then you'll know if it's safe to go the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So that's kind
Maybe
of the
you
first
can clarify for me.
Yeah. So Also, the kind of second tip after that is you have to consciously decide, I hate myself. I want to fail. I want bad things to happen to me. I want to get a staph infection. I want bill collectors calling me day and night. I want to be arrested. I want to get a DUI. I want to destroy my life in every way possible. When you make that decision psychologically,
improvement for someone though.
Well, if you have somebody that you don't like your greatest enemy, and let's say you make the decision, I don't know why you would, to be successful, good luck there. But if you want to do that, you have to stop your competition. So buy them the book, send them the book, slip it into their car, leave it on their desk, mail it to their house, and just, put a sticky note on it with a big heart. And this will get you ahead by getting them behind.
Right. And by the way, we wrote so much detail. It's pretty heavy that you can beat yourself with it for being the bad, stupid, naughty boy that you are. You can knock yourself around in the head, and we made it you could really take out a small child with this if you had to. We don't recommend hurting others that way. We recommend hurting yourself.
Yeah, and if you run out of toilet paper, if you're using toilet paper, if you read the book, you know that that's a no-no. No. But if you do want to use these pages for anything, you can roll joints with this.
Is it because you want to leave it for all the people who are hoarding it? Is that why?
No. There's only two options when you go to the bathroom. Number two. Number one, never, ever, 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 ever wipe, ever. Number two, every time. Now, if you choose to wipe, every single time you wipe, use the entire roll of toilet paper and throw it in there to flush it. So it's one of the two. You only get one of the two.
It makes great rolling paper too. Yeah, we've used these pages. It kind of makes a great straw for different activities that you might need a straw for.
Yeah. I see.
Like drinking things.
Or snorting things.
Well, yeah, I was trying to beat around the bush there. It's YouTube, man. They're going to kick us off of YouTube for this. We can't do that.
Well, so that's really great. So what made you guys decide to write this?
Well, years of failure, years and years and years of failure. Miserably. Relationships. We've been cheated on, and sometimes we encourage that. We want to be cheated on. We've cheated on others. Several bankruptcies have brought us to this. Several,
a baker's dozen.
The joint, the nut house, visiting the nut house a couple of times. And we just said, let's put all these stories together in a book and sell it.
And Courtenay, when you write a book, you write about what you know.
Yeah.
Right. You said that in the beginning. Sorry.
That's really
osmosis. I completely forgot. Yes.
It's us being near you. We are giving you digital failure right now. So it's working already.
I know, it's like Omicron. It's contagious through the screen.
It really is. Your podcast is going to be very, very low, the numbers on this, because it's just having us on.
Oh, this may be your last episode, to be honest, honey.
Sure.
Sorry.
Wow. I
for more drinking.
Should have thought a little bit differently, but if the goal is to be a miserable failure, I guess then I'm doing this right. So
right, if you want to be a miserable failure, everything is covered. So if you pick a topic, if you think of any topic, it's going to be covered in the book. Every single topic is covered.
You name it, we cover it. Throw something out right now. I bet you we covered it.
Well, I have one more question, because you would think that a failure would not complete a book, right? So how on earth did you manage to, and doesn't that go against everything you stand for?
You mean, how did we come up with an ending? That was that was easy. We just covered the same Hollywood progress, or the same Hollywood process that they do right now. Is you make a movie and then at the end it just ends. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
and then you hide behind creative artistic expression because you're not clever enough to figure out how to end the damn movie. So that's kind of how we ended the book. It just ends, like the end of Sopranos. Boom.
Just ends. We tried to get staff writing jobs on SNL, but they said we were too good.
Wow.
But we weren't big enough failures. We weren't big enough failures for SNL.
Oh.
Yeah.
You couldn't fail enough at failing.
You want to not laugh? Watch that show.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lorne Michaels
Once
has
upon a time,
definitely read this.
Yeah. Well, I once upon a time it was pretty funny, but
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since they've been. I want to say
it's
Will Ferrell
20
was the last funny guy they had on that show.
25 years. Yeah. It's been like 25 years.
Yeah.
has it been that long? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it probably has. I think I haven't watched television in at least half of that time, so that's entirely possible.
Well, speaking of television, we actually have a section in the book on how to steal television from your neighbors. So if you don't have television because you haven't paid your bill, we have an entire section on how to steal television from your neighbor.
Oh yeah.
Wow. There was like no stone left unturned, really.
No,
Nothing.
like I said, it's a lifelong of failure. We just took notes.
How, and for example, the best section that I enjoyed writing was how to drive a car. Some of the names that you're going to be called as a miserable failure as you're behind the wheel of a car, every boneheaded move that you've ever seen while driving has been committed by a miserable failure. So we have an entire section, and we also have a section on how to properly fly on an airplane.
How to properly what?
Fly on an airplane.
Pre-COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. Post-COVID. Yeah. I mean, when you're a miserable failure, you do a lot of vomiting. So masks have been very helpful, and you should never wash your mask either.
Oh, never wash your mask, and just allow the filth and the nasties just get it, because the smell is putrid and delicious.
Do you ever been on an airplane and someone goes and blows up the bathroom? That's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always recommend yelling Allahu Akbar during takeoff and landing, and sprinting through the cabin at full speed, knocking people in the back of their heads.
I have no idea what that word means, the phrase Ali Akbar, but I say it everywhere. It tends to get people excited. I'm not quite sure.
It gets them a little jiggly.
Yeah. We have a whole section of bomb jokes.
Of what jokes?
Bomb jokes for airplanes.
Okay.
So just cute little things you can say to the TSA. Yeah.
Yeah, to make sure you never fly again.
We have a section on how to get on the do not fly list, actually.
We covered everything.
Funny thing about that.
Yep.
Was that pre-COVID or post?
Pre-COVID, and the same thing applies. Some of the ways that you can go through security, and we recommend either denying yourself the opportunity to be groped and going through the cancer-causing radiation machine. Do that several times. If you prefer to get groped, whenever the TSA agent is down on his or her knees, like feeling you up, look down in their eyes and lick your lips.
Mm-hmm. And say, shouldn't you check again?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Direct eye contact, lick lips.
Right, yeah, as you said before, that's the key to everything.
We're navigating the new COVID world like everyone else. I mean, we have been hermits with bacterial infections way before COVID happened. So it's nice to see everyone catching up.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of suck. So social distancing is not a bad idea. Yeah. I mean,
if you don't want to get any kind of staph infection from us, I believe if you let us use the bathroom in your home, you will get herpes later.
At least that's the least of your worries.
If you're lucky.
You're going to have small woodland animals making home in your bathroom when we're done with it. Picture a meth house flop house and multiply that by 100 when we get done using your bathroom.
And smallpox. There's a really good chance you will get smallpox.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
we call it large pox because there's nothing small about it right now.
Large pox.
We've been itching a lot.
I got it. Well, I'm really glad that it hasn't come to the point where this can be transmitted through the screen quite yet. So
that's what you hope.
To hear about it from afar.
Yeah, give it time. Wait till you wake up tomorrow.
You'll also have a virus on your computer.
I fear you might be correct on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I don't know. There's just so much to cover in this. So what would be, if people are reading through this and they're still having some success, what would your advice to them be?
Well,
read it again.
You're not doing it right. Okay. Essentially, read the book backwards. That may help.
Okay.
It's if you're going to read one of Tony Robbins' books, or you're going to read one of Bob Proctor's books, and you're gonna try to be successful, and it doesn't work out for you, maybe read their book backwards, because the direction they're pushing you in, again, is they're setting you up to feel like garbage. Okay, we're setting you up to be garbage.
Okay, but we actually have a section on if you're not failing enough.
Yeah. Oh, well,
so
you tell me.
So here's what it says. It says, if you're not failing enough reading this glorious piece of garbage, you're doing it wrong. First of all, strike yourself in the face 150 times and don't stop until you hear a loud thud and you wake up and black out. So that's essentially it. Then it says, do 10 more kilos of cocaine over the next year, read the book multiple times, and set as many fires as you can. That's kind of what we recommend.
Wow. All right. I
in your own home, though. And by home, we mean the tent you live in under the bridge.
Or the van down by the river.
Which is incidentally where we got our vaccines from. We were vaccinated against COVID like 10 years ago. It was a guy named Jose. He lives under a bridge in a small tent. And we're not any, let's just say, strangers to needles. We've been stepping on them for years.
Yeah, we use the same ones over again. Yeah. There's no alcohol swabs going on when we take a plunge.
No,
him just and go straight in.
We share needles like we share wives.
Yeah.
Of course.
Shish kebab.
Right.
That was her name.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the big question is, who should not read this book?
People that want to be successful should not read this book. People that want to have good credit scores, people that want to own homes, people that want to be good parents, people that don't want to get fired, they want to have really long-lasting careers, a great education. Those people should definitely not read the book, because if you are striving for those things, this is not the option you should be going with.
Snyder and I are apparently, we don't know this for sure, so we can't say this a blanket statement, but we are the first Americans to have negative credit scores. Yes. So I am currently at a negative 600 and rising, falling. I don't know how you say that, but yeah, we are not heading in the positive direction, which is our goal. It really has been. When any loan officer that's given us a loan is not employed anymore.
They're not employed.
They're not working. Yeah, to say the least, most likely not married or living either.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's will help you advance your career in the wrong direction, but the right direction, because you're trying to fail.
Right.
Now you get it. She gets it.
I do. I really do. This is quite profound. And
it's never been done before. That's the best thing, is that this book, How to Be a Miserable Failure, available on Amazon, has never, ever been done before. No one's written an anti-self-help book before. This is the first of its kind. Except for now, yes.
How did you guys know that this is what's needed? I mean, why didn't anybody else know?
Because we have a glimpse into the future of miserable failure. And we see the direction the country's headed. We see the direction of the world's headed. It ain't getting any better. So you might as well hop on board the miserable failure train express and go straight to town.
We've been ahead of the curve for years.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, social distancing, you saw the future of doom and gloom, and you're like, well, I may as well lead the way. I mean,
we'll show you how to do it the right way.
Right, because there is a wrong way, right?
The wrong way is our way. Our right way is the wrong way.
And the wrong way is the right way.
You got it.
Oh, now it makes so much sense. So much sense. Is there anything else I need to know?
Oh, there's lots you need to know. You need to read.
Yeah, this book sold out on Amazon. It's back up there. I believe it's still on Barnes & Noble. It's like $20-25. It's the worst investment you'll ever make. But if you want to just get ahead in life by being a hero, going from a hero to a zero, this is your book. And if you want to entertain your guests, like if you're having a party, throw this book on the coffee table when you're over there drinking wine and doing cocaine with your friends. You're going to get a few chuckles, and somebody is going to want to turn into a miserable failure after reading that book.
The uncle you don't really care for, who used to wrestle with you as a child, that crazy neighbor that, you know, keeps knocking on your door when you have the music turned up at 3 a.m., that ex that wants to get paid child support, good luck there. Buy him this book, send it to him. You can go to howtobeamiserablefailure.com. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Barnes and Noble. Buy them this book. It will change their life. Years ago, there was a book that was written. It sold like 1 million copies. It's Why to Vote Democrat or Reasons to Vote Democrat. And it's empty pages. Kind of the same idea here. And we're apolitical. I mean, really, miserable failures, we don't vote. It's something that we're never going to do, because that means we would have to show up somewhere on a certain day.
Unless you do, you can also choose to vote, but vote for the wrong stuff. Vote for the tax increases. Vote for all of the government regulations. If you're going to be a miserable failure and vote for all the bad
Well, then
stuff.
you can help everybody else be a miserable failure too.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Snyder and I both wrote in Kanye in 2020, and our guy did not get elected, but that's okay. And I'm really upset that him and Kim broke up, but obviously he's been reading our books, so that explains it.
Oh, I was wondering what happened there. Thank you for clearing that up too. No,
Yes.
I got so many answers tonight.
Yeah,
Wow.
that Pete Davidson needs to read it too.
Yeah, and by the way, once you read it and you become a celebrity, you're going to get picked up eventually for, you know, prostitution, drugs, DUIs. We've had many celebrities reach out to us and say, thank you. Charlie Sheen, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Who else has reached out to us?
The guy that was jerking off in front of people in his dressing room.
Paul Rubens.
No, the other guy.
Well, Paul Rubens did reach out to us, but
Yeah, that's
Jared from Subway, who's now in federal prison.
He's a big
he reached out
fan.
to us.
A big fan. He's gained weight in prison. It's crazy.
Casey Anthony and OJ Simpson have both reached out, personally thanking us for the book.
Oh, OJ, great guy. Yeah, great guy. Miss him.
He's like a mascot for your book.
He's definitely someone that could promote it. We have had some celebrity endorsements. John Paul II was a big fan of the book.
Gary Busey was a huge fan.
Huge fan. He when he had his motorcycle accident, he became very interested in this book. And that kind of explains everything that's happened since, and we're very proud of him.
Well, that's very sweet.
I think that if you everybody should go out and pick up a copy, just to have, because even if you don't want to become a miserable failure, you read this, it's going to give you a way to even be successful by being good, by not following the book. So if you want to be successful, you can read this and not follow the book, or it's perfect for everybody. If you want to be unsuccessful and be a miserable failure, grab it, read the book, and implement it into your horrible, disgusting life.
If you want to know how not to screw up your life, you could also read this book as well. We don't recommend that. That's not recommended. That's not the purpose of the book. But if you want to figure out how to not do the things that we've done, just read about what we've done.
Right. Well, maybe it could also be good for like people who want to feel good about themselves, because
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you read this book, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my life isn't so bad. Like if you lose a leg during a tragic bass fishing accident, you're going to read this book. And then when we talk about how you want to become transabled and cut your own arms and legs off surgically through a doctor, you're not going to feel so bad. I'd rather have one leg than no legs.
Life as a nugget person is really kind of great.
Oh yeah. Nugget or biscuit, either one.
Yeah.
You have your perv daddy. You're carried
Frank.
Around like Yoda.
I miss Frank.
Luke Skywalker's backpack from Star Wars.
Yeah. Diabetes
that's where the
got
nuggets
Frank.
and biscuits are carried.
That was a rough one. He ate a bad diet, but yeah, I miss Frank, my perv daddy. That was fun. That's I'm not going to cry. I know we're on the air.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of crying, last thing I'll say, if you want to learn how to cry while successfully masturbating, we have an entire chapter about that.
Quite possibly the best sexual lubricant of all time is the tears of your spouse or yourself or whatever animal is in the room.
Okay. Wow. We have a chapter on that. Okay. All right.
We cover everything.
You did tell me this. You cover everything.
There's no reason not to buy this book on Amazon or howtobeamiserablefailure.com.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I guess everybody should go and get How to Be a Miserable Failure. Where you get it? Say it again.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can go to howtobeamiserablefailure.com. That'll link you to everywhere.
And we have a podcast. We've got a podcast too, which again, it's been about a year since we've done an episode of the podcast because of COVID and our horrible, horrible drug addictions and time on the inside. But there should be new episodes coming soon. You can find us on all the podcast places. You name it, we're there. And
it's very hard to do a podcast when you're in federal prison,
It's not easy at all.
It ain't easy.
you gotta do some favors to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, since you can't get your landlord to accept those favors, I don't know how you're gonna get your prison lords to accept them.
I have no clue, and I'm surprised I haven't had a knock on the door yet. So this is great. I'm afraid to leave right now, not because of COVID, but because he'll change the locks.
Oh.
He's a bigot.
Yeah, that's clearly the problem. I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Time for more drinking.
Right. All right. Well, everybody should go and get your book for sure. And what do you talk about on your podcast?
We talk about the day in the life of a miserable failure, our adventures living in a brown windowless panel van, going around the city, drinking, doing drugs, getting into fights, stealing, committing arson, committing felonies, how to disown your children, how to deal with an ex-spouse. So, it's just basically about our adventures in miserable failure.
In the failure verse, we did live in a panel van, a brown windowless panel van that said free candy on the outside, which apparently I spelled wrong. But we did live in that van together for about a year and podcasted during that time. Many reasons we left, mainly because Snyder made me sleep on the rust hole. Yep. And that was not very comfortable. It gets very cold there. It added to the already present infection, so I'm not upset about that. But yeah, check that out. Again, anywhere podcasts are sold, you can hear How to Be a Miserable Failure, the podcast.
Wonderful. Well, unless you have anything else that you want to leave us with, I think everybody should run out and get the book. And it sounds like I need to do that, before the 19th.
Yes, you're way too successful. You look like you showered today.
I thought I was doing really good at failing everything, but apparently there's so much more to fail at. So
there's so much more.
So much more. Get deep.
I am so behind.
Yes. Yeah. Start with just the tip and then work the whole failure into your life.
Work it all in there, all around.
Deep in you. Yes.
Deep. Yep.
Yes. Very deep.
Well, what do you tell people who feel really overwhelmed by how much there is to fail at?
Do baby steps. You want to start out small. Like if just shoving an old man who's walking down the street with in his walker,
great,
shove him over, just push him over, right? Then maybe go to the liquor store and steal an entire case of beer and run out and give a couple to the homeless, give a couple to the high school kids. Start small, do little things like that, then work your way up to the big stuff.
Take your next bathroom break in your boss's office.
Sure.
Yeah, that doesn't have a toilet. But
have an affair with your spouse's sister, record it and upload it to YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Make sure that you tag everyone, though. That's an important step, because if you just put it out there and no one knows it's directed towards grandma and grandpa, then it's not going to work. So that's why you need to buy the book. We cover all this in detail. Yeah.
I was going to say, I wouldn't even have known like the first step here. So I'm so glad that you outlined all of it for me.
Hashtag it's my underwear now.
It's everything. So just start small. When you get it, you want to be a miserable failure, just start small and then work your way up to the big stuff.
Yeah.
Did you answer this already? How did the president get your book?
He actually bought a copy, and he actually bought so he actually bought 35 copies, one for himself and then one for his whole cabinet. So everybody got a copy, and we have been receiving some notes here and there. When we ask Kamala for her opinion, she just laughs and cackles.
It's weird. Yeah.
Squeal.
Yeah,
that's about it.
The book, and she's like, "Are you on death row? I'm gonna hide evidence." I don't know. It's strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe she just enjoyed it that much.
She did. I think Donald Trump may have sent her the book. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yes.
It's definitely worked, though. That's for sure.
And Kamala, the offer is always on the table for you to come over here and kneel down and clean my toes. She's used to being on her knees. So, I mean.
She is. That's how you get ahead. You get ahead by being on your knees.
Hashtag Willie Brown.
Yes, and hiding evidence so that people stay on death row longer than they need to. Hashtag it's my underwear now.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, I think that is almost everything we need to know, with the exception of the 624 pages that are outlined of how I can continue to fail in life.
And if you can't read so good like me, Snyder can help you. He's helped me so much.
Masters.
Yeah.
Destroy your, I got your right. You're the
guy finally.
Destroy your life. Yes.
Wow.
Buy the book so we can buy more drugs.
Go out and buy it right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
They are expensive. They're very expensive.
Prostitutes are not free, and neither is methamphetamines.
Right. This
Yes.
is true. This is true. Although they do seem to be shipping in large quantities of fentanyl.
They've been getting away with that. So hopefully that and this book is coming to a trailer park near you.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, on that happy note, and until next time. And this was really fun. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us on.